you got a busy day after this? How's it looking?
Okay, bro.
Good.
Okay. Hi, guys. Welcome to Open the Vaults. It's me, Manny Chima. Today's episode is called Possessed with Vic because I'm here with Vic VJ.
Hello, guys. Hey.
How you doing, bro? You have a good Christmas?
All good, man. All good. I
Good,
hope
good,
you've all had
man.
a good Christmas as well.
Yeah, man. We hope you've all had a good Christmas, guys. Thank you very much for coming on again, bro.
Yeah, no
To talk
problem.
about your possessed bomb. So you did really well with it at the Glasshammer RTT #2 at the Christmas RTT, and you podiumed.
Yeah.
Did you win every game? You won every game, right?
Yeah, I got through all my games with a win.
Nice.
So yeah, it worked out.
It's a bit different as well. It's not the same stuff everyone's using, and it's not Marines, so
It's not
that's
Marines.
good. Well, it's Marines of the bad kind.
It's the good breed.
the good Marines. But yeah, man, they're the lesser of two evils right now, aren't they? The Chaos ones.
Says a lot.
Yeah, exactly. So, bro, what did you have? What did you have in this list? Tell us a little bit about what you've actually got in the list first.
Sure. So it's a triple battalion. It's a chaos list, a mixed chaos list. Essentially, there were three parts. So there was a part which was a screen, so a Nurgle Demon battalion, and that involved two Poxbringers, some Nurglings, and then the second battalion was the kind of main juice of it, which was an Alpha Legion battalion, and that used a sorcerer, Master of Possession, Lord Arcos, who's a Forge World character. He basically he's not quite worth his points, but he's the only character, other thing in Chaos, which can forward deploy like a scout.
Okay, cool.
So he goes forward with the Nurglings, and I'll run into that a little bit more because that's kind of how the combo kind of all works.
Okay.
And then we've got the big bomb of Possessed, which is 19 Nurgle Possessed. And then we also got 3 Obliterators and then some Cultists as troop tracks. And then we had a third battalion because this list needs absolutely loads of command points, which was a Word Bearers battalion, and that just involved 2 Psychers, a Demon Prince and a Sorcerer as well.
Nice. Yeah, I had a bit of a look into those, and they look mean.
Yeah, they're okay. I mean, going forward, I'm dropping that battalion, but it was very, very good in this tournament. The Word Bearers have some very good stratagems, both to auto-pass a spell if they fail it, and also auto-pass a save if they fail it. So you can really get a lot of value out of them as a little thing on the side. They don't have very much offensive output, but you can make quite a mean Demon Prince, which is what I did in this list, because my Warlord was the Demon Prince. He had a Warlord trait which lets him get +1 strength, attack, and 1 movement, and also gives him the possessed keyword.
Yeah, I was looking at that. I thought that was really, really cool what you did there.
But unfortunately, the Alpha Legion possessed buffs off the Master of Possession don't affect the the Word Bearers guys.
Yeah.
They don't cross over, but there is a Word Bearer stratagem for +1 damage, so his Malefic Talons become 3 damage.
So it gives him 3 damage. That's really good.
Yeah.
I'm guessing you had Diabolic Strength as well?
No,
just for like the 10 attacks at strength 10 or something.
I mean, he's got 9 attacks at strength 8, which is good at 3 damage. And it's probably all you really need in this list because the Possessed already hit hard enough to cover you for melee. It's just that little bit on the side, knock down a plane, which he does very reliably, even without Diabolic Strength. Yeah. Because it's strength 8.
Nice. That sounds good to me, man. Really good. So tell us why. Tell us why it works. Why does it work in the current meta? What is the trick behind this blob? This blob of possessed.
Yeah. So possessed have been something that people have been trying for a long, long time, and it hasn't really worked. But they've constantly been getting little buffs. They had a little buff in Vigilus Ablaze where the Demonkin Ritualist detachment was available, which allows you to get a 6-inch bubble as a Warlord trait with Field Commander for mortal wounds on a wound roll of 6. So it was 1 additional mortal wound on a wound roll of 6, and also a stratagem for +1 strength and attack.
Those that's in Vigilus, is it?
Yeah, so those are absolutely key.
Did you have that detachment?
I did, yeah. So the Alpha
Legion
detachment was that. And then the Master of Possession got the Warlord trait from that detachment. So
+1 attack and strength is really nice. So they're strength 6.
Yeah, they're strength 6. And
That's
obviously,
nice.
then you layer on a lot more buffs. So we have the Nurgle detachment, which also gives them +1 strength from the Heralds if they're within 6 inches of them. So we're strength 7.
With the Nurgle detachment.
And then,
Ah, with the Poxbringer. Oh,
yeah,
because
but
you have the demon keyword, you have the Nurgle and the demon
exactly.
keyword. That's really nice as well.
Exactly. And then also because that was a pure Nurgle detachment, the Nurgle Loci activate, which gives with the Nurgle demon characters a 6-inch aura of any 6s to wound are
It's
2
2
damage.
damage. Ah.
Exactly. And it's a 6+ to wound, so it's a modifiable one,
And then you have Virulent Blessing.
which is another +1 to wound. So now 5s to wound are 2 damage, but Virulent Blessing is any 7s to wound are double damage. So that makes the 6s to wound 3 damage, and the 5s to wound 2 damage. And then Veterans of the Long War is 1 command point. So now we've got the 4s and 5s are 2 damage, and the 5s and 6s are 3 damage. And usually with +2 to wound and strength 7, you're
Oh, and then
usually wounding
5s
on
and
2s or
6s are
3s.
mortal wounds as well.
Unfortunately, the mortal wound is unmodified. So the 6s just do an additional mortal wound.
Oh, I thought it was a 7 plus does a mortal wound.
No, that's Blades of Putrefaction, which is a Death Guard one.
Ah, not Virulent Blessing.
No, that's double damage.
Oh, am I looking at an old version of the Demon book then? Because
Maybe.
I think I was looking at the Chaos Demon book, and I was on Virulent Blessing.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh
Well.
no, it says add 1 to wound rolls, and 7 plus does double damage, not a mortal wound.
Yeah. That's
Double
it.
damage. Ah,
That's it.
okay. 7 plus is double damage. So when you've got
Yep.
+2 to wound, ah, okay, I get you then.
Yep.
Yeah. Then
Yep.
5 plus is double damage, like you were saying. Okay. So
Yep.
a 4 plus would do 2 damage, and then a 5 and a 6 would do 3 damage.
That's right.
Oh,
And
that's
with
really nice.
yeah, exactly. So that's with
Wow.
Veterans of the Long War added in.
That's horrible, man.
Yeah.
That's
And
really
now
horrible.
you're at strength 7, and you've got +2 to wound. So you're usually wounding on 2s, maybe 3s. And then the Master of Possession has 2 really good spells which work well with this. One is it lets you reroll all wound rolls of 1 and all hit rolls of 1. So you have that
Infernal
as your
power.
buffs.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah. And then the second spell is +1 to your invuln save, so they go to a 4+ invuln,
That's nice.
which is really useful. And then obviously they're Nurgle, so you can give them Miasma of Pestilence, which gives them an additional -1 to be hit, which works in both combat and shooting, so it's quite important for keeping them alive. And then the final buff is to give them another -1 to hit from the Dark Apostle, whatever in the list.
Benediction of
Yeah, I think I said the
darkness.
wrong thing. In the Alpha Legion attachment, there's no sorcerer, but it's a Dark Apostle.
Okay. Yeah.
So they're -3 to hit with Alpha Legion also added on top from shooting.
That's nice.
But the next layer of buffs came in Faith and Fury, which was Alpha Legion buffs. And the one big stratagem for them is Conceal.
Yeah.
Well, there's 2 big stratagems. So one is Conceal for survivability, which is a stratagem very much like Cloud of Flies. Or the so basically they can't be targeted unless they're the closest visible unit. So if you have any screen in front that is visible, they can't be targeted.
What if they don't? What if you have a screen in front but it's not visible?
Exactly. So if it's not visible, then they can still be targeted. So if I have
Can they? Ah,
exactly.
okay,
So if I have my Nurglings out of line of sight, then you can target the possessed if they're the nearest unit that you can see.
Okay.
But that's where Lord Arcos comes in, because Lord Arcos can forward deploy, and he's a character.
So you can hide the Nurglings, then deploy him out in the open.
Exactly. And he's just standing there taking everything. He's naturally -1 to hit, Alpha Legion for another -1 to hit, and you pay 1 CP for a Warlord trait, so he's -3 to hit. So he's just standing there taking everything for the possessed.
That's nice.
Yeah. The second stratagem in Alpha Legion, which is huge, and without it, to be honest, they don't work, is you get a pre-game move of 9 inches.
Yeah.
And actually, if you don't have that, this whole list doesn't work because you normally end up only hitting on turn 3.
Okay, yeah.
Whereas with the 9 inches of movement, you often hit on turn 1 or sometimes turn 2. You know,
that's nice.
You.
Yeah. Okay, that's really cool. So you hit turn 1/turn 2.
Yep.
That's really nice. Okay, yeah, having that 9-inch move before the game is really cool. And I mean, to be fair, all of these buffs are really good and they affect that one unit. But then you've got this Obliterator unit in there that you can veterans, double fire, give a 5 up, feel no pain to, make
Yep.
-3 to hit or untargetable. If the
Exactly.
possessed are in front of them with -3 to hit, then you can
Exactly.
make them untargetable. And
Exactly.
how good is that intercept 18 inches with no penalty to your shooting, Strat?
Amazing.
Yeah,
Amazing.
because I looked at that and I
It's
was
so
like,
good.
that's insane. Having a unit of obliterators with that is just horrible, you know.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's so many tricks in there because the conceal works very well with the obliterators, which is true, but also the possessed are so easy to get locked in combat with.
Yeah.
It's really easy to try point with them because you have so many models in the unit. And I've got 200 points in the list to summon the Contorted Epitome, which I did every game.
That's really
So yeah, the Contorted Epitome has a 6-inch aura preventing people from falling back, which works really, really nicely on turn 2. And then at that point, the possessed are in front, and you can just conceal the obliterators behind, and that's it. You get a few turns of shooting out with your 18 command points.
Very nice. That sounds really cool, man. It sounds funky. So, have you? I think that their weakness is units that are really good in combat, right? So,
Yeah.
like shooting, they're not really that susceptible to, but things can go quite wrong in combat if you get hit by the right things. For example,
Definitely.
like something that's 2 damage and hits on 2s normally because
Yep.
you're only -1 to hit, right, in combat. So I don't know,
Yeah.
like a Smash Captain with the Teeth of Terror, possibly something like
Yeah.
that, fighting twice, or
Yeah.
you know, fighting when he dies after, like, you know, he goes in, kills 3 or 4 possessed, then you kill him, then he kills another 3 or 4 possessed, and he's
Yeah.
killed half your squad or something.
Exactly.
Is that something that has, you know, been a worry?
Yeah, I mean, fortunately, I played one game against Marines, my first one, on that weekend, and I got away with it. But combat is the problem. If people get in with a Smash Captain or a Teeth of Terror Captain, Teeth of Terror would be worse, but the Smash Captain is the more common one.
Yeah.
And they knock out like 6 possessed with just 100 points. It's awful. But moving forward, I think to cover that weakness, because I found that I have all the buffs in this list, and I
Yeah.
don't need all of them to make the possessed work. It got to the
Okay, yeah.
point where even 4 possessed could easily kill a tank. And there were some things which were more consistent than others and made more of a difference than others.
Okay.
And I found really you only need vets and the 1 CP stratagem for +1 strength and attack, and they absolutely wreck everything as long as they have that 6-inch bubble of 1 mortal wound on 6s.
Oh, that's the aura from
The Vigilist attachment.
the Vigilance
So
attachment, yeah.
those 3 alone are enough to take the possessed to the point where they really consistently kill anything they touch.
Okay.
Uh,
So they don't
so
need the double damage and all of that kind of stuff.
exactly. So I don't think that they need the Nurgle Locus. So how I'd go forward with this is actually not summon the Contorted Epitome, but keep the Contorted Epitome in the list, and then give the Contorted Epitome the Forbidden Gem, which is the Slanesh Demon Relic,
Yeah.
where you pick a character within 12 inches and you roll 3d6. If you go above their leadership or equal,
can't do anything.
above their leadership, they can't do anything for a phase, which really would turn off, a Smash Captain going in, which the opponent's relying on to take out 10 possessed.
Nice, yeah.
Yeah, and with a 12-inch range, the Contorted Epitome has a spell for -1 leadership in 12 inches, and the possessed give -1 leadership because they're Nurgle and they have their icon.
They have the icon.
So it's very reliable to kind of turn off a character.
Yeah, because
as
you
long
make like a Smash Captain and you ship 8 or 7, and then
Yeah.
you've got to roll 3 dice equal to, and that's it. They can't do anything.
Yeah, which is quite straightforward to do.
Yeah, that's quite
just
really
roll.
okay. That's really good. That's really. And when does the Forbidden Gem activate? It's in one. It's at the start of one phase, isn't it? So you'd activate it at like the start of the fight phase,
Exactly.
and that Smash Captain wouldn't be able to fight.
Or, if the Smash Captain's in slightly a weird position, I can activate in the charge phase and turn him off. But I prefer the fight phase.
Ah, okay, I like that. I think that's really cool. That's really cool. And then, how many Nurglings did you have?
I had, I think it was 544, wasn't it?
Okay, yes, something like that. The one unit
Yeah.
was slightly bigger than the rest.
Yeah.
And how did you find that? Were they good?
To be honest, I thought they were good. They didn't really die.
Yeah,
through the
okay,
weekend.
that's good then. So they did their function. They
did
performed
their
their
function. They
really
didn't
well.
really die. And I think I wouldn't go beyond 5. I'd be really careful of going beyond it because you can't really hide the unit very well.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think it might be worth one big unit that you warp surge against very heavy shooting.
Oh yeah,
Because
to give it like a 4-up M1.
yeah, because I think against extremely heavy shooting, so say like Eldar with a lot of flyers or Iron Hands with a lot of flyers, something that can get around you. You need to keep the Nurglings in line of sight and screening out because Lord Arcos can't do it on his own.
Yeah.
And it's very easy to pick up all the Nurglings and get through to the possessed if you're going second. And in those games, I'd have to actually spend 2 command points and put 2 units of cultists out 9 inches with the possess. So you end up
Okay,
catching a
yeah.
lot of bullets. Whereas if you have a single big unit of Nurglings, you can really slow that down with Warp Surge and probably avoid losing any possessed at all on turn one,
Okay,
as they
that's
catch
nice.
most of the firepower. So yeah, that's about the right number of Nurglings, I think. I wouldn't go to like 24 Nurglings or something ridiculous like that.
Yeah. Okay, because I mean, something like 3-3-3 and then a 9-man unit could be quite good.
Yeah, yeah,
Or like
yeah,
3-3 and a 9-man unit, something like that. So you've got 15,
yeah,
16 Nurglings.
yeah, definitely, definitely.
Okay, that's
I
pretty cool.
mean,
Because I was looking at it, and this week's battle report for everyone that is. Oh no, it's not everyone that is elite. Last week's was elite, so this week will be a public
oh,
battle report.
there you go.
And I'm trying the possess bomb out
Okay,
against Dan
okay.
tomorrow,
Hmm.
and that will be the next battle report. And I'm I'm trying it a little bit different because I don't have any obliterator models.
Yep,
So
sure.
of course the ideal would be to put in some obliterators because they're so good. And I really wanted 2 units of obliterators
Okay.
because I think once the possessed get to something, you could quite easily wrap something and
Mm,
refuse to kill it,
hmm.
and then
Yep, yep.
keep doing that with the possessed once they're in.
Mm,
And at that point, you could make 1 unit of your obliterators untargetable
hmm.
and make the other one -3 to hit,
Yeah, yeah,
or something
absolutely.
like that. So you
Yeah.
could do stuff like that, and I think like 2 units of obliterators, and then that 20-man blob would be like a
Mm,
really solid list.
hmm.
But because I don't have any, we've
Hmm.
kind of gone a little bit different. So the list is like it's an Alpha Legion battalion, which is the Dark Apostle, the Master of Possession, three
Yep.
units of 10 cultists, and then the 19-man blob of Alpha
Hmm.
Legion possessed. Then it's the Word Bearers detachment with the Sorcerer, the Demon Prince, and 3 units of cultists.
Okay.
And then the last detachment is a Nurgle detachment.
Okay. Hmm.
So the Nurgle keyword is where it's sharing, yeah?
Yep.
And
Hmm.
that's a super heavy, a Supreme Command detachment.
Oh, okay.
And that's 1 Poxbringer,
Hmm.
2 Demon Princes
Hmm.
of Nurgle, and then Mortarion, and 3 Death Shroud
Yeah,
Terminators.
that'll work. Yeah, for sure.
So I think you don't have the Nurglings, but then you've got Mortarion
Hmm.
with his shield of 3 Death Shroud Terminators
Hmm.
to soak up a lot of firepower to keep you alive. But then, of
Hmm.
course, if the Death Shroud Terminators soak up a load of big hits,
Hmm.
Morty can live, and then he can get there too. I mean, you could warp time him. You could
Yep.
you could you could move you guys 9 inches before the game, then advance them into the middle of the board. But you could warp time Morty twice and get him into something.
Yep.
Then turn 2, they could run and catch him up and get into combat as well.
Yep.
Because then there's a lot of attention on Mortarion at that point as well,
That's
rather
true.
than
Yeah.
just on the possessed.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
just thought, what could I use because I don't have obliterators? And I thought, you know what, let's get Morty back out the box and see if he can actually work in this kind of
Yeah,
list.
definitely, man.
So I
And
just wanted to
without the
give him a chance.
obliterators, I mean, you don't need as many command points. That's really the
Yes,
big problem
yes.
with having the obliterators in the list.
Yeah, so I've got
Uh,
2 battalions instead of 3.
yeah.
But I figured like you probably have to stop them being targeted and shoot twice with them and put vets on them pretty much
Yeah.
to make
Yeah.
them reliable. So it's 5 command points,
Hmm.
and you'll want to do that for like 2 turns. So you're going to spend
Hmm.
about 10 command points on that obliterate unit, and
Yeah.
you only really need 8 for the possessed really, in the rest of there because you want to
Hmm.
spend 2, don't you?
Ideally.
You want to do vets and you want to do the other +1 strength and attack,
Hmm.
don't
Hmm.
you? And you want to do
Yeah.
that for like 4 turns basically.
Yeah. Hmm.
So you need about 8 to 10 CP, I guess, for them guys, and then the
Hmm.
rest of them is just bonus for the rest of your army, right?
Yeah.
So I kind of
Exactly.
thought, yeah, if I don't have anything else, then I've still got like 14 command points or something. So, I
Hmm.
can take the detachment,
Hmm.
and then I can use the word bearers 1 TP strat to make the guy actually 3 damage, the
Yep.
prince, and get him in combat. And then the cool thing I liked about it is I could catapult Mortarion up the board with the
Hmm.
warp time, and then I can just advance 3 demon princes up right behind him.
Mm, yep.
Because
Yeah. Yeah.
that's then like another layer of pressure. People have to worry about 3 demon princes and all of the possessed. So
Yeah.
I thought, you know what, just try and take like a full combat army if you don't have any
Yeah, man.
obliterators,
That's
and
it.
just see
Definitely.
how it works. Because I think that detachment there, I only really want the Poxbringer, and of course one of the demon princes has the virulent blessing.
Mm.
So you'd probably want to downgrade him to another Poxbringer.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was doing it, it saves you like 260 plus the Terminator's 360 plus Mortari. It literally saves you like 850 points,
Mm-hmm.
which is like 2 units of obliterators
Yep.
and then 300 points worth of Nurglings, which is like 15 base of Nurglings. So,
Mm.
like you say, like 2 4-man squads and then like an 8-man squad, or 2 3-man squads and a 9-man squad, something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm
So I
very
think it
interested
actually
why you
works.
kept the cultists and dropped the Nurglings. I know obviously you need the Supreme Command, don't you?
Yes, that's
Because
the thing. I can't take
mm,
I can't take the Nurgle as 2
yeah, of
detachments.
course.
I'd have to take the Nurgle as 2 detachments then,
Yeah, yeah,
because I'd
yeah.
have to take
Sure.
Mortarion on his own at that point.
Mm, yeah,
If I wanted to take Nurglings, so then I would lose the Word Bearer
yeah.
detachment, which you
It's,
can't do, I don't think.
it just means that if you go second, you can't do the forward move with your possessed. They have to be behind Mortarion,
Yeah.
which is the only issue.
Yes. Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah. Or unless you've got line of sight blocking in the middle of the board,
Yeah, you can chuck them in behind that terrain. That's true.
so you
You can
can
play it the classic way.
yeah, you could you could do stuff like that. But yeah, man. So another thing I wanted to ask you is playing with the army. Then, are there any changes that you're looking at rather than, or is it just the mirror? Is there anything else that you've sort of peeked on that you like? Actually, this could work, because the mirror
Mm,
coming into your list, it's not really a change, is it? Because you were summoning the mirror in, but
exactly.
he'll just be in the list now, so he'll be
Yeah.
reliably always there, and then you can have the gem.
Yeah,
But
it's
I
just for
mean,
the
is there
gem.
anything that you would change? Because you were saying that you want to drop the
Mm.
word bearer detachment, didn't you?
I do. I think personally, I think 1,000 Suns battalion is better than the Word Bearers battalion.
Oh, okay. Yes.
You need to jiggle the points a little bit around, but it fits quite comfortably actually. Having Ahriman, Demon Prince, and a Sorcerer, and then 3 units of Cultists in there.
Yep.
And then that just gives you the 4 direct damage, as in the targeted smite abilities.
Oh, yes.
And it also gives you, all the other stuff. It also gives you Gaze of Fate, which is really helpful with the obliterators. And I think that helps a lot in ITC missions because you can very reliably get first turn kill. You can very reliably pick out these characters that are a problem. It does exactly the same stuff as the Word Bearers Battalion, plus more. And actually, when I did a test game with it, it's considerably better with 1,000 Suns.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. We might have to try that out then, because I was looking at it and I was just thinking that prince for the word bearers is really good, because your sorcerer in the word bearers is basically Araman. He does have
Yeah.
+1 to cast with that relic, and
Yeah.
he does know 3 powers then, doesn't he, as well? So
Yeah.
he's basically Araman at that point. And then I thought, yeah, if the demon prince is so good and he's 3 damage, and you can get him to strength 10 with 10 attacks, and he
Mm,
can go into things like centurions and wound on 2s and stuff like
yeah.
that. So I just thought, if you could get a guy with 10 attacks for strength 10 and he's flat 3 damage, he's
Yeah.
probably worth having. But
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess
I'm,
yeah, the more reliable mortal wounds is probably better, isn't it? Like
yeah.
4 extra powers a turn that are hitting people.
Yeah. It's hitting people. Plus, they get their 3 smites. Um, so
Yeah.
you actually have a huge mortal wound output in the list all of a sudden, which is how people were running things before. But
Yeah.
the Word Bearers Battalion, all you do is you get that really big hit with the Demon Prince, and otherwise you don't get much else.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. And to be fair, the in the marine meta right now, having mortal wounds is quite important. You can hurt marines quite a bit if you've got a lot of mortal wound output, because they're tough, right? And that's the thing. Like, even intercessors, there are just so many of them, and they're toughness 4, but then they've got good
Mhm.
spells and all of that kind of stuff.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah. Ramsey says 3 times +1 cast spellcasters are great. What's
Yeah,
that?
exactly, and that's with a Termi sorcerer, a demon prince, or someone else with high magister,
Yeah,
which is the Thousand Suns Waller trait, and
yeah,
Ahriman. So that little combo is
yeah.
3+1 casting guys,
That's the thing.
and it gives you the entire cohort of spells. If you don't need Weaver of Fates and Glamour of Tzeentch, the +1 invuln and -1 hit, you
Yeah.
get all the damage spells and prescience and warp time.
Oh yeah, because you actually don't need the +1
Yeah, you
save,
don't.
and you don't need the -1 to hit, because none of it's Zinch. and you can only do that on 1,000-ton units, can't you?
Yeah, just be on yourself.
Yeah, so you wouldn't really need that unless you took like 1 unit 30 Zangor or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Which could be a good shout as well, actually. Like having 1 unit of them in reserve for 1 command point, and then having the dark matter crystal to be able to get them out and get them in somewhere else.
Well, I want to throw in an interesting curveball in here with
Okay.
because the obliterators are great,
Yes.
but they're a little bit hit and miss. They drain a huge amount of command points from the list, and they make the list require triple battalion, which gives you a lot of extra chaff and brings you close to that Reaper limit. Often you give up kill more, or at least kill 1 in the later turns. Scarab Occult Terminators, I think people have written them off completely, but they got quite a big points drop in Chapter Approved.
Okay.
And the way the unit works is that you get the missile racks and their upgraded kind of gun. You can put them on the same model. So 2 models can have the really good gun and the missile racks on them.
Okay, yeah.
And you can easily swap out the obliterators and 3 units of cultists and get that unit of 10 Scarab Occult Terminators with like 80 points to spare. And actually, the damage output is really good considering they don't drain any CP except for 1 for Veterans of the Long War. And it's very, very good against intercessors if you're going against these typical kind of Iron Hands and Imperial Fist lists with a lot of intercessors. You can really drain through a lot of them. So that could be an option, especially
you could make them -1 to hit and give them +1 invuln and stuff like that as well.
Exactly. The sorcerer in the unit gives you 1 spell, so it's not too much of a compromise on spells.
Yeah, because you take +1 invuln on him, right?
Exactly.
And then you only need to take a -1 to hit on Arrowman.
Yeah.
And the rest of it can be like damage.
Yeah, you chuck prescience on them, and they're pumping out 40 really good shots at -2 AP with the missile racks for another 4 shots. And they can be vaguely tough. They're not tough enough, but if Psychic Awakening gives them some kind of a buff, I think that could be a really strong way to take it.
Okay, yeah, because I was looking at it, and for me, I don't know, because these Scarab Occult Terminators, how much is a unit of 10 now, do you know?
So with both of the upgraded guns and the Hellfire Missile Racks, I think it's 357.
Okay.
Which is not bad.
No, yeah, that's not bad. That's actually really
bad.
good. That's actually pretty good. So like 35 points each, pretty much, for Terminators. It's quite good. Yeah. So, like, I was looking at it, and I was just thinking, like, Obliterators. For me, they were just winning out overall because they were only, like, 280 odd points. And then when they fire twice, they also get 36 shots.
Yeah.
As well, between the 3 of them. And I was thinking, man, that with because they're a better strength, they can be basically the same AP, maybe better, and then their damage can most definitely be better, especially if you've got like the reroll, the Gaze of Fate.
If you've got Gaze of Fate, definitely.
Yeah. So it's like they can put out a lot more reliable firepower than those Scarab Occult Terminators, but then also they can survive by not being targeted and stuff. They don't have to take a big hit. But then I guess what you're saying is right, to be fair as well, because they do use a lot of CP.
They do, yeah. It's really hard to fuel it. The good thing about the Oblits in this list is that the buffs from the Master of Possession overlap between the Possessed and the Obliterators.
Okay,
so there's a lot of synergy there if you go that way.
Because they get +1 invuln as well, don't they?
Yeah,
because they have a 4-up invuln, and you can give them a 5-up Field of Pain.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you don't have to make them non-targetable. They still are quite durable.
Yeah, they're Slanesh, so yeah, you can cast Delightful Agonies on them if you want to. So they can be really tough even if you run out of command points. And, the turn after they come down, you could use the Dark Apostle to give them another -1 to hit as well. So,
exactly the prediction.
Yeah, it fits in the list. It does fit in the list, but they will let you down at some point during the game.
At some point during the game, yeah. But I suppose if you get Gaze of Fate off, they might not.
Oh, yeah. It's a huge... I didn't realize how much of a difference it would make until that test game, where just the Gaze of Fate alone makes everything work a lot better. And you also get Helm of the Third Eye for the CP regen.
Yeah.
And it's so useful because that 1 CP in the late game, just for 1 Veterans of the Long War and you're possessed, can completely change the game.
Yeah.
Ah,
okay. Yeah, I really like it. I think that's really, really cool. There's one more thing I was going to ask. What was it? Oh, is there a way for Alpha Legion to put things in reserve, or is that not an Alpha Legion thing?
Yeah, they have a stratagem called something infiltration where you can pick up one of your infantry units and put them in deep strike, and they come down the next turn.
Okay, okay, but they have to start on the board.
They do have to start on the board, so
Okay.
you can't. I wish you could, because then Havocs would become really
I was
incredible.
literally about to say, yeah, that was what I was thinking, because chain cannon ones, I
Oh,
really, really like chain cannon havocs. I think they're really cool, like a unit with 32 shots.
yeah,
With the
yeah,
+1 to wound of them is like really good. So if you could have a unit of them that deep struck in and then fired
yeah,
twice with 64 shots, and that
yeah.
would be really, really cool.
I
That's
mean,
what I was thinking about.
you can use the Terax drill if you want, but that takes them up to 287 points or something. And at that point, you're getting very close to the Scarab Occult Terminators, and I think they are better at that point.
Okay, yeah, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And obviously they've got a lot more wounds than just 5 dudes.
Yeah, they'll give
So
you 2 turns, and because all the damage is stacked into the last 2 models as well,
yeah.
they give you a lot more damage output over the game.
Ah, awesome. That's cool. Well, yeah, that's how it works, guys. That's the possessed bomb for you. So we just had a peek into Vic's masterful mind there
Oh
and
gosh.
seen his creation. And no, it's really cool, man. I really, really like that these kind of lists are coming out there. And I mean, you can kind of see now, like like the more experienced 40k players and stuff are going away from Marines because,
Yeah.
I mean, you'll go to a big tournament and you'll probably still take Marines just because Marines are right up there. But like
Yeah.
going to like smaller events and practice events and having like your own games, I think more experienced players are tending to stray away from Marines now because they're just getting a bit boring now, I guess.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so everybody's trying some cool stuff, and I really like this idea that you've come up with here. So I think it's cool. I'll let you know if Mortarion works in it or not.
Yeah, have
'Cause,
a go with it. I think
yeah, I don't think it'll be as good as the Blitz, but it will still be good. I mean, what I wanted to do, but I, of course don't have the models for the battle report
yeah.
because I've only got 3 Death Shroud Terminators.
Okay.
But the second Nurgle Demon Prince wasn't needed. Like the
Yeah.
Word Bearer one I like, and the first Demon Prince I like of Nurgle, but the second one's not needed. So he could have been downgraded to a Poxbringer, another Poxbringer, and that gets me like 2 more Death Shroud Terminators. So I could have 5 Death Shroud Terminators with Mortarion, and
Yeah.
then that makes him very survivable.
How about making him a Death Guard Demon Prince rather than a Nurgle Demon one?
Make him a Death Guard one.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's Nurgle keyword.
Yeah, he'll still have the Nurgle keyword, but
Yeah,
what will
but
that give
he'll
him?
just be able to get the that armor, whatever the really good armor is.
Oh
Uh,
yes,
uh,
the barbarian plate or something like
and
that.
if Mortarion dies, he can take blades and actually hits a lot harder than
Yeah,
Nurgle
hits a
Demon
lot.
Prince.
Yeah, that's a good point actually. Yeah, could do that. Could take him as a Nurgle one, I guess. Yeah, because that's the only thing I was thinking. I was like, he's not that needed. It would be nice to have another 2 Death Shroud Terminators
Yeah.
just to make sure Mortarion gets there. But it'll be good actually because what Dan's using,
Mm.
he's got 9 heavy destroyers and 3 Doomsday Arcs.
Oh, he's going for
So
Necrons. That's good.
yeah,
That's
so
good. Time.
averagely he's got like 20 shots in his army. Averagely 20 shots that do D6 damage.
Mm-hmm.
So Mortarion's going to be in a lot of trouble. So
Yeah,
it's going to be
a
interesting to see how
it'll be
well
a
he does.
tough game going second, but we'll see how you get on. You
Yeah.
play mind games with him every time, so
Yeah, exactly. It's
Get down.
it's gonna be quite funny, I think. But his list is really cool. So
Yeah.
what he's running is like 9 heavy destroyers in 3 units of 3,
Yeah.
and then 3 Doomsday Arcs and a Cryptek. So that
Yeah.
like heavy shooting bit is like 1 detachment,
Mhm.
and then he's got 17 wraiths
Oh,
because they
whoa,
came down a lot in chapter approved, and they're good, man. They're good.
that's a lot in the list, isn't it?
Yeah, so he's got
a lot.
yeah, exactly. So you've got 9 heavy destroyers, 3 Doomsday Arcs, and then you've got the 17 destroyers with a Lord.
Mm.
And then he's got points to take an auxiliary 6-man destroyer unit as well, normal destroyers.
Yeah.
So
Oh, you
there's
might have a tough time.
Yeah, I think
Matty.
it will be a very tough game. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So I think it's going to be a really good one, and it'll be a really good test. But
Yes.
Mortarion is going to struggle in that environment, I think, against the Doomsdays. But I think it's really good actually because Mortarion's going to struggle with the Doomsdays and the heavy destroyers. I think the possessed could struggle with wraiths as well
They will. They
because
will.
once the wraiths get in,
Yeah.
with the only -1 to hit, they're hitting you on 4s, but they
Yep.
do get rerolls to hit,
Yep.
and they're flat 2 damage.
They're 2 damage. That's awful. That's an awful match.
So that's going to hurt a lot. But
Yeah.
Death Hex might help a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
So
With
things
word
like
bearers,
that.
death hex is
If
really strong.
Mortarion does make it to combat, that would help a lot.
Yeah.
So there's some things that can go this way and that way. The Prince, the 3 damage Prince will help a lot
Hmm.
against wraiths and destroy. I mean, if Death Hex goes off and he
If you
charges a
get death
unit
hex.
6 wraiths, it's
Yeah.
gone
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
it could be, but that's the cool thing because you could take. I mean, you can take Death Hex on the Word Bearer guy, can't you?
Yeah.
So he's got +1 to cast it, but then if he fails, he can automatically get it off. And of course,
Yep.
Necrons have no way of denying. So if he gets it off, he gets it off, and if he fails it, you can make him get it off. So you
Yep.
can always get Death Hex off. So I
Hmm.
think that's going to be a big factor as well.
Yep.
So it just gives me something to try and help against these raids, but 3 units of them is really going to hurt, I think.
Yeah,
So it'll
man.
be a
You
really
gotta.
interesting one to watch, bro.
Yeah, definitely. Are we still
Yeah.
doing a game
Yeah, I was
on
going to ask you,
Monday?
are you
Is
still
it
coming
Monday?
down on Monday?
Yeah, I'll come down
Yeah,
Monday.
because I thought that would be really good because obviously I've got my version of this like possessed bomb. But of course,
Yep.
it's like a bit of a makeshift, see if Mortarion works kind of thing.
Yep.
So that'll be cool. And then next week's one, for all of you guys that are elite members, Vic's going to come on with his version of his possessed bomb, and I will be playing it with something. So
Yep. Yep.
to be fair, I think I've got an Iron Hands brigade.
Oh, I'd enjoy that. That'd be a tough game.
Yeah.
I actually think the possessed list does really well against Marines if eliminators aren't in there. If
Yes, I
eliminators
don't have
are,
any eliminators.
okay, then it's going to be a really interesting game.
Yeah, I
'cause,
don't have any eliminator, and I think it'll be
yeah,
very good because I think that the possessed can beat that list.
I think they can as well.
Yeah, so that's why I've made the brigade, and I'm like, you know what? Let's make the hardest Iron Hands brigade I can, and then let's get it on the board and see what it does.
Yeah.
So it's actually really quite good. So
Yeah.
I've just
Yeah.
made one brigade of Iron Hands, and I think it could be a very, very good game. So yeah, guys, if you're not elite members, make sure you become elite members and watch next week's battle report as well. So this week is going to be my Mortarion version, and next week is going to be Vic with his proper bomb against my Iron Hands brigade. So that should be a very good game as well. But
Amazing.
yeah, thank you all for watching. Thank you very much, guys. Thanks, Vic, for coming on,
Cheers.
bro. It's been a pleasure, as always. I hope to have you on very soon again. It's always
Yep.
a laugh. And I'll see you all on Monday for Monday Night Mashup, guys. And if you're not elite members, then I don't really care about you. So bye.
See you guys. Bye.